In just 39 seconds, one of Hollywood's biggest stars went from sitting comfortably on the Good Morning America couch to storming off set in absolute fury, leaving Michael Strahan speechless and the entire studio in complete shock. What started as a simple conversation about Jamie Foxx's health journey turned into one of the most explosive meltdowns ever caught on live television, with accusations flying, voices rising, and a confrontation so heated that cameras kept rolling, even as producers scrambled to cut to commercial. Before we dive into this absolute chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We bring you daily videos exposing Hollywood's darkest scandals, the confrontations they don't want you to see, and the moments that reveal who these celebrities really are behind the fake smiles. Last night's episode of Good Morning America was supposed to be a celebration. Jamie Foxx was making his grand return to the talk show circuit after his mysterious health scare that had kept him out of the public eye for months. Fans were excited. The studio audience was packed. Everyone wanted to hear Jamie's story, to understand what really happened during those frightening months when rumors swirled and nobody knew if the beloved actor and comedian would ever fully recover. Michael Strahan walked onto the set with his trademark smile, that confident energy he always brings to the show. The lights were bright, the cameras were ready, and Jamie Foxx sat across from him looking healthy, energetic, and ready to talk. At first, everything seemed perfect. They started with some light jokes, some laughter from the audience, the kind of warm-up banter that makes morning television feel comfortable and safe. "Jamie Foxx, everybody," Michael said, clapping his hands together as the audience erupted in applause. "Man, it's so good to see you looking healthy and strong." Jamie smiled, that signature charismatic grin that had made him a star. "It's good to be here, Michael. It's good to be anywhere, honestly. I'm grateful for every single day." The audience clapped again, emotional and supportive. Michael leaned forward, his expression turning more serious, more interested. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. The reason Jamie was even on the show. "So let's talk about it," Michael said. "The health scare. You disappeared for months, Jamie. People were worried. Your family kept things very private, which everyone respected. But now you're ready to share. What happened?" Jamie took a deep breath, and you could see him gathering his thoughts, preparing to open up about something deeply personal. "It was scary, man. Really scary. I had a medical complication that nobody saw coming. One day I'm fine. The next day I'm in the hospital fighting for my life. My family, my daughter especially, she was there every single day." "That must have been terrifying," Michael said, nodding sympathetically. "It was. But you know what? I'm here. I'm healthy. And I learned that life is precious. That the people who love you are everything. And that you can't take a single moment for granted." Beautiful sentiment. Powerful moment. The kind of thing that makes for great television. But then Michael Strahan did something that changed the entire energy in the room. He leaned back, crossed his arms slightly, and his expression shifted. It wasn't warm anymore. It wasn't sympathetic. There was something else there, something that looked almost like skepticism. "That's all really inspiring, Jamie," Michael said slowly. "But a lot of people have been wondering why your family was so secretive about the whole thing. I mean, we live in an age where celebrities share everything on social media. You've always been open with your fans. Why the mystery? Why keep everyone in the dark?" Jamie's smile faded just a little bit. You could see it in his eyes, a flicker of confusion, maybe a hint of offense. "What do you mean by that?" "I'm just saying," Michael continued. "When something happens to a major celebrity and nobody knows any details, people start to speculate. They start to wonder if maybe there's more to the story than what's being said." The studio got quieter. The audience could feel the shift. This wasn't friendly conversation anymore. This was something else. "Hold on," Jamie said, sitting up straighter. "Are you suggesting I'm lying about my health? Are you seriously doing that right now?" Michael held up his hands defensively, but his tone didn't back down. "I'm not suggesting anything, Jamie. I'm just asking the questions that a lot of people out there are thinking. You disappeared for months. Your team gave vague statements. Now you're back, and we're supposed to just accept the story without any real details?" "Real details." Jamie's voice was getting louder now, sharper. "Michael, I almost died. I was in a hospital bed fighting for my life. My family was terrified. We kept things private because that's what you do when you're dealing with something traumatic. We didn't owe anyone an explanation." You're a public figure, Michael shot back. Your fans support you. They buy tickets to your movies. They care about you. Don't they deserve to know the truth? They do know the truth, Jamie said, his face showing real anger now. I had a medical emergency. I'm recovering. That is the truth. What more do you want from me? Michael shrugged, and that shrug was dismissive, almost cruel. I guess I want the same thing everyone else wants. The real story, because right now, it feels like we're only getting part of it. The audience was dead silent. This was uncomfortable. This was confrontational in a way that morning television never is. You could see people in the background, producers and crew members, looking at each other with wide eyes, unsure if they should intervene. Jamie stood up, not aggressively but definitively. You know what, Michael? I came here to share my story, to let people know I'm okay, to thank everyone who prayed for me and supported me. I didn't come here to be interrogated like I'm on trial. Nobody's interrogating you, Michael said, but his tone said otherwise. I'm just doing my job as a journalist, asking the questions that need to be asked. Journalist? Jamie laughed, but there was no humor in it. Man, you're a morning show host. You ask celebrities about their new movies and their favorite recipes. Don't act like you're some hard-hitting investigative reporter trying to expose me. That hit Michael hard. You could see it in his face. His jaw clenched, his eyes narrowed, and when he spoke again, his voice had an edge that cut through the studio. I'm trying to have an honest conversation, Michael said coldly. If you can't handle honest questions, maybe you're not as recovered as you claim to be. The audience gasped, actually gasped out loud. That was a low blow, and everyone knew it. Jamie stood there for a moment, staring at Michael with a look of pure disbelief. Did you really just say that? Jamie asked quietly, dangerously. Did you really just question my recovery? Question my health? On live television? Michael didn't back down. I questioned your transparency. There's a difference. No, Jamie said, shaking his head. No, you crossed a line. A huge line. I opened up to you about the scariest time of my life, and you're sitting there acting like I'm running some kind of scam, like I faked being sick or something. Do you understand how messed up that is? I never said you faked anything, Michael replied defensively. You implied it. Jamie's voice was rising now, echoing through the studio. You sat there with your smug attitude, suggesting that my family and I were hiding something, that we owe the world some detailed medical report about what happened to me. That's not journalism, Michael. That's just cruel. Michael stood up now too, facing Jamie across the coffee table. You want to talk about cruel? How about making millions of dollars off fans who love you, then shutting them out completely when something major happens? How about coming back and expecting everyone to just welcome you with open arms without any real answers? Real answers? Jamie stepped closer. I was in a coma, Michael. A coma. My daughter sat by my bed not knowing if I'd ever wake up. My family lived through hell. And now I'm here, alive, trying to move forward, and you're treating me like I did something wrong. Like surviving wasn't enough. The audience was shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Some people were whispering to each other. This had gone way beyond awkward television. This was personal. This was brutal. Michael's expression hardened even more. You're playing the victim card now? Really? You're one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, Jamie. You have money, fame, the best doctors in the world. A lot of regular people go through medical emergencies and don't get the luxury of privacy and secrecy. They can't just disappear and come back when they feel like it. The luxury of privacy? Jamie looked stunned. Michael, privacy during a health crisis isn't a luxury. It's a human right. Rich, poor, famous, nobody. Everyone deserves to heal without the whole world demanding updates. What the hell is wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me, Michael said. I'm holding you accountable. That's what good interviewers do. Good interviewers? Jamie laughed bitterly. Good interviewers show compassion. They listen. They don't ambush their guests with accusations. This is ambush journalism, and you know it. Nobody ambushed you, Michael insisted. These are fair questions. Fair questions? Jamie's voice was getting louder with every word. You basically accused me of lying about almost dying. You questioned whether I was really sick. You disrespected my family, my daughter who saved my life. There's nothing fair about any of this. And you damn well know it. The energy in the studio was reaching a breaking point. You could see it happening in real time. The producers were definitely trying to signal something to Michael, but he wasn't looking at them. He was locked in on Jamie. His pride clearly hurt. His defensiveness ramping up. "I think you're being oversensitive," Michael said. And that was possibly the worst thing he could have said in that moment. "Oversensitive?" Jamie repeated the word slowly, like he couldn't believe he'd heard it correctly. "I'm being oversensitive because I don't appreciate you questioning my medical emergency on national television. I'm questioning your secrecy, not your health," Michael said. "They're the same thing," Jamie shouted. "When you question why someone kept their health crisis private, you're questioning their health. You're making it seem suspicious when there's nothing suspicious about it. I was sick. I got better. End of story." "Except, it's not the end of the story," Michael pushed back. "Because you're here now, on my show, and you won't give straight answers." "I gave you straight answers." Jamie was visibly frustrated now, his hands gesturing emphatically. "You just don't like them. You want me to give you some dramatic, detailed, graphic description of my medical condition so you can have a viral moment, so you can get your ratings. That's what this is really about, isn't it? You don't care about my health or my story. You just want the most sensational version of it." Michael's face flushed. "That's not true, isn't it though?" Jamie pressed. "You're pushing and pushing, trying to make me uncomfortable, trying to get me to say something shocking. That's not interviewing. That's exploitation." "I'm not exploiting anyone," Michael said angrily. "I'm trying to have a real conversation instead of some sugar-coated, feel-good nonsense where everyone just smiles and pretends everything's perfect. There's a difference between having a real conversation and being an asshole," Jamie said flatly, and the audience audibly reacted to that. Some people gasped again. Others made sounds of agreement. Michael pointed at Jamie. "Don't call me names on my show." "Your show?" Jamie laughed. "Man, this isn't your show. This is ABC's show. You're just the host. And right now, you're doing a terrible job of it." That hit a nerve. Michael's entire demeanor changed, becoming even more defensive, even more aggressive. "I've been hosting this show successfully for years. I don't need career advice from someone who just spent months in hiding." "In hiding?" Jamie's voice was incredulous. "I was in a hospital, Michael. Then I was recovering at home with my family. That's not hiding, that's surviving. But you can't understand that because you're so caught up in your own ego that you can't show basic human empathy." "My ego?" Michael shot back. "You're the one who can't handle a few tough questions. You're the one getting defensive and angry because I dared to ask for more information. Maybe you're the one with the ego problem." "Tough questions?" Jamie shook his head in disbelief. "These aren't tough questions. These are disrespectful, invasive, completely inappropriate questions. And the fact that you can't see the difference is honestly sad." Michael took a step closer to Jamie, his voice dropping but becoming more intense. "You know what I think? I think you're hiding something. I think there's more to this story, and you're scared to tell it. That's why you're getting so worked up right now." "Scared?" Jamie's eyes widened. "I'm not scared of anything, Michael. I survived something that could have killed me. I'm not afraid of you or your theories or your ridiculous accusations. What I am is angry. I'm angry that you invited me here under false pretenses. I thought this was going to be a respectful conversation." "It is a respectful conversation," Michael insisted. "You just don't like being challenged." "Challenged?" Jamie's voice rose again. "There's a difference between being challenged and being attacked. You're attacking me. You're attacking my character, my honesty, my family's decisions. That's not a challenge. That's an assault." The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Members of the studio audience were clearly uncomfortable, some looking down at their laps, others watching with wide eyes, unable to look away from the train wreck unfolding before them. "An assault?" Michael scoffed. "That's dramatic even for you. I asked you some questions. That's literally my job." "Your job is to interview people, not to attack them," Jamie fired back. "Your job is to make your guests feel welcome, not to make them feel like criminals. You've failed at every level here, Michael." "I haven't failed at anything," Michael said stubbornly. "You're the one who can't handle scrutiny. You're the one who's falling apart because someone dared to question your narrative." "My narrative?" Jamie's voice was shaking with anger now. This isn't a narrative. This is my life. This is what happened to me. And you're treating it like it's some fictional story that I made up for attention. Do you have any idea how insulting that is? I'm treating it like a story that has holes in it, Michael replied. Because it does. You can't expect people to just blindly believe everything you say without asking questions. I'm not asking anyone to blindly believe anything, Jamie said through gritted teeth. I'm sharing my experience. That's all. If you don't believe me, that's your problem, not mine. It becomes everyone's problem when you're a public figure making public statements, Michael countered. You can't have it both ways. You can't demand privacy and then come on television to talk about what happened. Yes, I can, Jamie exploded. I can share what I'm comfortable sharing and keep private what I want to keep private. That's how privacy works, Michael. I don't owe you my medical records. I don't owe you every painful detail of what my family went through. I'm sharing what I want to share, and that should be enough. But it's not enough, Michael said flatly. Not for me, not for the audience, not for the millions of people watching at home who have questions. Then maybe those questions shouldn't be asked, Jamie shouted. Maybe some things are private. Maybe some experiences are so painful and so personal that they don't need to be dissected on morning television for entertainment. This isn't entertainment, Michael argued. This is news. This is information. This is what people want to know. People want to know that I'm okay, Jamie said, his voice breaking slightly with emotion. People want to know that I survived and that I'm grateful. That's what they want. What you want is something different. You want drama. You want controversy. You want me to break down or confess to something that doesn't exist. Michael shook his head. I want the truth. I gave you the truth, Jamie yelled. I almost died. My family saved me. I'm recovering. That is the truth. But you don't want truth. You want a scandal. You want to create something out of nothing so you can have your big moment. Don't put this on me, Michael said defensively. You're the one who agreed to come on the show. You're the one who said you were ready to talk. If you weren't ready, you shouldn't have come. I was ready to talk, Jamie said, his voice strained. I was ready to have a real conversation with someone I thought would understand. Someone I thought would be kind. But you're not being kind, Michael. You're being cruel. And I don't know why. I'm being honest, Michael insisted. Maybe you're just not used to that. Honest? Jamie looked at him with something close to pity now. You think cruelty is honesty? You think tearing someone down is the same as telling the truth? That's sad, man. That's really sad. I'm not tearing you down, Michael protested. But even he seemed less certain now. Yes, you are, Jamie said quietly, firmly. You've been tearing me down since the moment you started questioning my story. Every word, every implication, every skeptical look has been designed to make me look bad, to make it seem like I'm lying or hiding something terrible. And I'm done with it. Michael seemed to realize the interview was slipping away from him completely. Jamie, listen. Let's just take a step back here. Let's reset and try again. No, Jamie said simply. There's no reset. There's no trying again. You showed me exactly who you are in this moment, and I'm not interested in giving you another chance to disrespect me. I didn't disrespect you, Michael said, but his voice lacked conviction. You absolutely did, Jamie replied. And everyone watching knows it. The audience knows it. The people at home know it. Probably even you know it, deep down, but you're too proud to admit it. The studio was so quiet you could hear every breath, every shuffle of feet. The cameras were still rolling, capturing every second of this disaster. You know what the really messed up part is? Jamie continued. I actually respected you, Michael. I thought you were one of the good ones. I thought you understood what it meant to rise above, to be better, to lift people up instead of tearing them down. I was wrong about you. That clearly stung Michael. His face showed a flash of hurt before the defensiveness came back. You don't know me. I know what I saw here today, Jamie said, and that's enough. You had a chance to do something beautiful here. You had a chance to let someone share their story of survival and hope. Instead, you turned it into an interrogation. You made it ugly. It's only ugly because you're making it ugly. Michael tried one more time. You're the one who's angry and defensive. Of course I'm angry. Jamie's voice rose again. Any decent human being would be angry in this situation. You question my integrity, my honesty, My family? You suggested I was lying about a life-threatening medical emergency. How did you expect me to react? With a smile and a thank you. Michael opened his mouth to respond, but Jamie cut him off. You know what? Jamie said suddenly, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm. I thought coming here would be a good idea. I thought we could have a genuine conversation about resilience and gratitude and second chances. But instead, you turned this into an attack. You made me defend myself for having a medical emergency. You questioned my integrity, my family's integrity, all for what? For ratings? For clicks? For your own ego? I didn't attack anyone, Michael protested weakly. But even he seemed to realize he'd lost control of the situation. Yes, you did, Jamie said firmly. And I'm done with it. I'm done with this interview. I'm done with your questions. And I'm done pretending like this is okay. Michael's eyes widened slightly. You're walking out? Yeah, I'm walking out, Jamie confirmed. Because I don't have to sit here and take this. I don't have to justify my medical crisis to you or anyone else. I came here to share my story on my terms. And you tried to twist it into something ugly. I won't let you do that. If you walk out now, you're proving my point, Michael said. And it was clearly a last-ditch attempt to maintain control. You're proving that you can't handle honest scrutiny. Jamie paused, turned back to look at Michael directly. No, Michael. If I walk out now, I'm proving that I have self-respect. I'm proving that I won't let anyone, not even a TV host on a big morning show, treat me with disrespect. There's a difference between honest scrutiny and cruel interrogation. And what you did here today was cruel. He started to remove his microphone, pulling the wire from under his shirt. A producer rushed over, trying to help, but also clearly trying to convince him to stay. Jamie shook his head at whatever the producer was saying. Jamie, come on, Michael called out, his tone shifting now, maybe realizing he'd gone too far. Let's just take a breath and continue the conversation. There's no conversation to continue, Jamie said, handing his microphone to the producer. You made that clear when you decided to question my credibility instead of listening to my experience. I'm a human being, Michael. I went through something traumatic. All I wanted was a little compassion, a little understanding. Instead, you gave me suspicion and judgment. I was just doing my job, Michael said again, but his voice had lost its conviction. No, Jamie replied quietly but firmly. You were being cruel. And you were being cruel to someone who almost died. Think about that. Really, think about what you did here today. The studio was absolutely silent, except for the sound of Jamie's footsteps as he walked toward the exit. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every moment of his departure. His posture was straight, his head held high. He wasn't running away. He was walking away with dignity, refusing to participate in something that had become toxic. Michael stood there, seemingly frozen, unsure what to do or say. The audience was stunned. No one was clapping. No one was moving. They just witnessed something unprecedented, something that would definitely be talked about for days, weeks, maybe longer. As Jamie reached the edge of the set, he turned back one more time. For everyone watching at home who supported me during my recovery, thank you. Your prayers and positive thoughts meant everything to me and my family. I'm sorry you had to watch this. He looked directly at Michael. And I hope you learned something from this. I hope you learned that being a journalist doesn't mean abandoning kindness. It doesn't mean treating people like they're guilty until proven innocent. We're supposed to lift each other up, especially when someone's been through hell. With those final words, Jamie Foxx walked off the Good Morning America set, leaving behind a stunned studio, a speechless host, and what would become one of the most controversial moments in morning television history. Michael Strahan remained standing there, the weight of what had just happened slowly sinking in as the cameras finally cut to commercial.